Hi, Queens, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Sexiest in the City podcast. I am your host, Fatima Z-Wan. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, the Sexiest in the City podcast is just a place where we can talk about what it takes to truly be the baddest and the sexiest in the motherfucking city. So we talk about all the habits and all the mindset shifts we need to have in order to change and transform our life and to win and be successful and feel confident and become magnetic. And if you guys already know about the podcast, welcome back, my queens. Let's jump into this week's episode. I want to tell you guys a story about how I drastically improved my personal skill because I was practicing the same shit over and over again. Like, I literally became so much better at this skill because I was repeatedly showing up and practicing and consistently doing the work to slowly improve it. I used to have a fan page where I would edit all different types of shows. I would edit Teen Wolf, Styles and Lydia, and I would edit The Vampires. Literally any show you could think of, a girl was on it, okay? Whenever I started my page, I didn't make edits. I just made a page because I liked all of the Vine edits that they would have, because if y'all don't remember the Vine era, so I really liked like the editing culture, pictures and all this stuff, right? And ever since I was a kid, I always liked the idea of filming, producing content, and like doing all types of stuff like that. I've always been into film and editing and stuff, so it's always caught my eye. I ended up deciding when I was like, I want to say 13, 14, that I was like, low key, I want to start making edits. I want to actually make these live ass edits of my favorite ships and my favorite shows and like make my imagination come to life, because like I love all these editors, but I want to have my little thing. I want to do my own thing too. I want to make my ideas come to life too. I didn't know anything about editing, you guys. I'm talking about zero fucking knowledge, and I'm looking at all these really good editors and I'm trying to make edits like that, but like I said, I have no knowledge. So I remember I needed a scene, like a clip scene, and I didn't know how to download from YouTube and download HD video clips and shit like that. So I recorded through my iPad. I don't know if it was a computer or phone screen, but I was basically recording YouTube through another phone so I could have the clip. I took that clip and then I edited it in iMovie, and that's kind of how I started editing videos. But you guys, my first edit, like my first year of edits, was straight booty cheeks, okay? I did it for the love of the game. I did it because I wanted to try. And also, I think when we're young, all we do is go to school and then we have extra time after school. Like, I really had nothing much to do but edit. I didn't give a fuck if I was good or bad because I was doing it for the love of the game and because it was fun. The more I started practicing, you guys, my edits got completely better. And then I ended up changing my editing page to mainly video edits that I made. I didn't like repost other people's edits. And you guys, the queen improved, okay? And I started on iMovie on my phone. Then I upgraded to Sony Vegas Pro 14 on my laptop. And then I upgraded to After Effects 2018 on my laptop. So the queen was improving and getting better and better. It was because I always showed up for editing. Even if I was bad, if I was good, whatever it was, I still did the habit, and it helped me build a skill and get better at it and improve. And that is the key to learning anything. That's why I brought up this story, because that's just like a small example of my life of how like consistency and repetition helps your brain learn new skills so you can slowly improve, slowly learn, and like slowly build yourself. That is what this week's episode is about. It is about repetition. Repetition is the father of learning. For one, because I saw a video of Lil Wayne saying it.
Repetition is the father of learning. I repeat, repetition is the father of learning. Intelligence, all that comes from repetition. Awareness, preparation, all that comes from repetition. Repetition
is one of the main things that causes the brain to grow, and it's the main thing that causes people to change habits for good or for bad. Humans are habitual creatures, and I didn't really understand this until I started reading Dr. Joe Dispenza's How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. One of the main things he talks about in the book is neuroplasticity and how to rewire your brain and rewire your habits for the better. So repetition is essential for learning and mastering new skills. That is what helps people grow muscle in the gym. It's what helps people become smarter and more intelligent, and it's what helps people grow altogether in literally every aspect of your life. When you repeat the same things, you build a habit, and if that habit serves you, you're gonna have more return on investment in the future. So if you're eating healthy, if you're going to the gym, gym, if you're budgeting your money, if you're trying to master a craft, master a skill, all of these things in the future, if you continuously repeat them, you are going to train your brain how to do them better and more efficiently every single time. Like, you're just going to get better and better. And your brain, it's like a sponge, it's like a computer, and you can wire your brain to work in your favor. If you want to make real changes, it starts with consistency. Whenever I started going to the gym, I didn't know what to expect because I never went to the gym like that. Like, I didn't really give a fuck about the gym. I started giving a fuck about my health and like my fitness journey in June of 2021. So that's when I actually was like, you know what, I'm going to make an intentional effort to change a part of my life that I don't like, because I was overweight, I was depressed as fuck, I was super insecure, super self-conscious, low self-esteem, I felt like I was in the gutter, like, the list can go on, okay? So I wanted to make a change, and that's the moment that I decided, you know what? I don't like how I am anymore, so we're gonna switch this shit around. And I'm not saying from June 2021, I was at the gym every fucking week, 7 times a week, 6 times a week, busting my ass for 2-3 years, right? I'm not saying all that. But I think because I showed up every single day, every single week in small ways, whether it was going for a walk, having a healthy breakfast, like, I'm not saying to do all of these habits all at once, but even if it's 1%, I think it's because I repeatedly showed up for myself in small ways for weight loss and eating healthy. That's how I saw results, because I was consistently showing up. If you look into the gym culture, if you look into literally what it takes to grow muscle and muscle memory and everything that goes into strength training, what requires your muscles to grow is repetition. So the way that your muscles grow, let's say that you want to get a fat booty at the motherfucking gym. You're like, you know what? I'm trying to be on my daddy time. I want to get a little booty. So you go to the gym. How are we going to grow the muscle? Strength training is literally you challenging your muscles so the next time that you do it, you get better at it, and that your body can adapt to the weight that you're trying to get it in. So like, you're not doing it too heavy, but you're doing it just heavy enough to where it's challenging on your muscles. So the more you repeat it and you repeat it, you're going to break down your muscle fibers. And that's when you come in, you eat healthy protein. You gotta, like, it's like a car, you know, you want to put good gas in the car so the car can run good. So you're going to feed yourself healthy foods, healthy proteins, so all those broken fibers that you did when you were challenging your muscles can get repaired. And then when you go back to the gym and you lift just a little bit heavier, just a little bit of that tension and that challenge, you're going to slowly have your muscles grow. That's kind of like the core of what strength training is. It's you challenging your muscles repeatedly, that it creates muscle memory, and you get stronger and stronger, and your muscles physically grow. It's the same thing with your mental. It's the same thing with your gym. It's the same thing with my editing. It's the same thing with any aspect of life. If you repeatedly show up and you repeatedly are willing to learn, that is how you're going to master the skill. That's how you're going to grow and have self-improvement in all areas of your life, because you're showing up, you're putting in the work, and you're repeatedly doing that. Discipline, motivation, all of those are good short term, but for long-term results, it's going to be consistency. Consistency beats everything. It's not about the result, it's about showing up consistently. And the more you do it, you're going to train your mind to adapt. And that is literally how you rewire your mind, is by consistently and repeatedly showing up on that task. My mind loves to learn things. So when I actually put my mind and my attention into things that bettered me, like knowledge that bettered me, that's whenever I started to see me try a little bit harder in the gym, try a little bit harder in my craft or in my home life, like keeping my space clean, keeping my body looking sick, trying to wear cute outfits, look good, smell good. When you learn, it truly does change your outside world, because as within, so without. Everything that you are is what you manifest. It's literally about the habits that you create, because like I said, humans are habitual creatures. So you always want to do habits that it's going to give you delayed gratification. I've said this story before in my podcasts. I'm going to say it again because it was, I think, a pivotal point in my life, in my young life, to be honest. So I got pregnant at 18, had my baby at 19. I proceeded to get big as hell, depressed as fuck, anxious as shit. I had these limiting beliefs of who I was and what I was capable of, and I thought I was stuck being this person. So I was just had this anxiety and fear that I was missing out on my life, and that the train of living and enjoying your life is going to come by so quick and it's going to leave. And if you really think about it, the people that were 20 in the 2000s are 50 right now. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, they probably thought they had all this time ahead of them, and the time just went like this. I didn't want to let my youth waste, because at the end of the day, youth is still a beautiful thing, and so is aging, because with aging comes wisdom. So life is just a beautiful thing, and I wanted to enjoy all seasons and all chapters of my life. I didn't want to mindlessly live in this depressed and anxious and limiting belief, in this limiting state. I look around and 90% of people live like that. They just mindlessly wander, they mindlessly live, they live with no purpose. And I just felt like I know who I am. I know what I was put on this earth to do, and it was to create, and it was to create art, and just to create, period, right? Whatever it is. And I'm going to honor myself by doing that. I realized, you know what? I need to pick up a fucking book, first of all, because knowledge is the most important thing. Not only as a woman is knowledge important, as a human being, as a person of color, knowledge will take you so far in the game, because then nobody can fuck with you. When your mind is strong, nobody can come here and fuck with you. You got armor. You build your armor with your mind, with your intelligence. A smart woman is a dangerous woman, okay? So don't play with the queen. So I decided, I already love TED Talks. I already love podcasts. I love YouTube videos. I love hearing all these intelligent and smart perspectives of life. So I want to read a book too. I want to get onto the reading crew. My first book, like I said, How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. This book talked about how to rewire your brain, how to break habits, how to build habits, how to meditate, how to literally block off the noise, the negativity, living in survival, and how to manifest while living in survival. Like, you guys, he's covering everything, and I'm over here like, okay, period. Like, that book, like I said, pivotal moment for me. I'm going to go over a topic of the book that he talks about to rewire your brain, which is neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is a part of neuroscience and the study of the brain and brain waves and everything that has to do with your mind. So to rewire your brain, you need three main things, okay? So you need attention, emotion, repetition, okay? So attention, where attention goes, energy flows. Emotion, you always want to keep a high vibrational state, because when you're always at low vibrational states, you're not able to attract and manifest the things that you want to manifest, because you won't be a magnetic match to that frequency. Everything is energy at the end of the day, so you want to be an energetic match for your desire. Repetition, so when you can repeat these things, keeping your thoughts and your emotions at a high vibration, when you can repeatedly do that, you will start to manifest and change your life. That is just how neuroscience is, and that is neuroplasticity. People tell you when you're 25 years old, you cannot change anymore. Your brain is fully developed, and that's it. You're stuck with these habits, these thoughts until you die, basically. But neuroscience and neuroplasticity is disagreeing with that. They're saying, actually, no, you can change at any age, at any time in life, if you do these things. You start implementing these things, and then your brain will literally heal itself. You guys can go deeper into neuroplasticity, but you literally see the different parts of your brain start to wire together. Changing your life can happen for you, and it's all about your mindset. And so you can literally change who you are, rewire who you are by these actions, or repeating the good habits that benefit you. And so repetition is very important. Repetition is the father of learning. It's one of the main cores that it takes to learn and to change and to build and to grow. Your brain is not to see reality clearly. Your brain is to keep you safe by predicting what happens next. Prediction saves energy. Prediction prevents danger. Prediction also creates habit of thought. Your brain is always going to predict the next thing. While a lot of people are anxious or have trauma, like for example, this is a big one for some people. When you get cheated on or betrayal trauma, right? Your brain will start to scan out how to not get cheated on and traumatized again. So your brain will try to do things to prevent the thing from happening again because of the prediction. If this happens, there might be a chance that this might happen, because your brain is just, it's all about connecting patterns. Your brain is not your conscious self. Your subconscious mind is going at what your brain is operating on. Your subconscious mind, which is just 5% of your actual mind, which you guys, that's fucking crazy. You're not always trying to be realistic and trying to be logical and do. Your brain is just like, okay, beep boop, beep boop. Like, it's literally a computer system. So it's your responsibility to rewire your brain, rewire your fucking hard drive. So if your hard drive is limiting beliefs, self-conscious, doubtful, insecure, always fucking negative, you are going to have a system that goes like that. You're going to look for negative shit that happens in your life. You're going to always have excuses, always complain, always feel depressed, always feel like you have no control in your life, so you cannot go out there and get the things that you want by putting belts in motherfucking ass, because you have this limiting belief, and you need to go into your mind and change those habits. And so in order to learn, you need to put your attention into the things that benefit you, keep your emotions high, and most of all, repetition, repeatedly showing up, repeatedly trying to read more books, level up. Like, that's all it comes down to. Like, my main thing in life is just repeatedly level up. Like, it doesn't have to be where you're like a robot and you're actually every fucking day eating the same meals, same workouts, and like that's fucking miserable. At the end of the day, that's miserable. You know the movie like Happy Death Day, where she's waking up every fucking day, even though like she's trying to like, and you know what I mean? And she wakes up and she's like, what the fuck? Why am I still here? And it's like going on and on and on again. I don't know if y'all have watched that movie, but when you're doing the same thing over and over again, it could feel like you're fucking miserable. So I'm not saying to be a fucking robot, but I am saying repeatedly show up and level the fuck up in your life in all aspects. Make your space look better. Like, start organizing your room, decorating your room, and make it look like what you want your room to look like, not just a fucking space that you're occupying. No, this is your mi casa, su casa. Like, this is your bro cave type shit. Start looking into fashion wardrobe. Switch it up. If you need to sit down and like get rid of clothes that you don't wear anymore and start looking into new outfits, let's do it. You want to get into the gym, you want to start eating healthy, you want to start making content, you want to start doing more self-love, self-care, let's start leveling the fuck up. If you can show up for yourself and self-improve, not only does that benefit yourself, but it benefits the people around you, because you inspire people, and that energy just inspirational, and it's positive, it's uplifting. It's like, yo, I fuck with it, bro. Like, hold on. Not that we should ever give a fuck about the good and the bad things people say about us, because at the end of the day, it's all about what you think about yourself. That's all that matters. But think about if we lived in that type of world, right? Where everybody's just showing up, putting in the effort, trying to improve, trying to challenge negative thoughts, and trying to constantly evolve and become better and grow. It's all about that repetition. Show up and level the fuck up all the time. Just show up. That's all it is. Show up. Like, literally just show up. If you want to level up, wake up and start leveling up. Start looking at YouTube videos. Start listening to podcasts. Start reading. Start physically doing action, and get up, start going on your 10K walks, eat the food that you want to eat, put yourself out there. But it's like, just start and keep doing it repeatedly over and over again. Even if some days are slow and some days you can give 50%, some days you have 100% energy, some days you got 0.1% to motherfucking give. As long as you're showing up and repeating it, I'm telling you, you are going to learn. You are going to shift your beliefs, shift who you are as a person. That is how you grow. That is how you learn. In order to change, you need to challenge your mind and your body. So physically going and working out, physically going and reading books, like, do challenging things so you can actually learn. And when you learn, you become 1% better. It's the same thing with the gym. Once you like pass the level of like, okay, I'm aware and I've learned this, then you want to the next level. You're just slowly evolving and building yourself up. The mind, because at the end of the day, your mind is a muscle, right? You're strengthening that muscle, no different as if you strengthening your booty at the gym. You know what I mean? It's the same concept. You want to strengthen your mind, strengthen your body, so you could be the most confident and baddest and sexiest in the motherfucking city. It's repetition, and you guys have heard it before. Consistency is key to the gym, to money, to being rich as fuck, to being a bad bitch, to having good relationships with people. You want to consistently show up and be kind and patient and grow with your partner, with your friends, with yourself. Consistency is key. When you are repeating challenges, that's when you learn. Learning is what transforms your brain, and it's what literally transforms your life. If you're insecure, if you're down in the motherfucking gutter, if you feel like you are at rock bottom, It's all about showing up, learning, and consistently and repeatedly learning, repeatedly showing up for yourself 1% every single day. There's a study that said if you show up for yourself 1% every day compared to if you don't show up for yourself at all, you will decline by the end of the year compared to if you were to do 1% every day. I'm going to put the stats here on the screen on my YouTube screen. If you guys are on podcast Spotify, come to YouTube, queen. People think that micro habits are so fucking useless and you need to be big, grand, and spectacular to see real and long-lasting changes. But I'm telling you, it's about those micro habits, those little tiny tweaks in your routine that changes your fucking life, dude. I'm telling you. There's sometimes in life where you're doing something and you look and you're not where you want to be. Like, you're not where you want to be in progress. You're looking and you're like, dude, I feel like I'm putting so much energy and effort right now and I'm barely scratching the fucking surface. And that is, it's discouraging, to say the motherfucking least. Ignore the progress, ignore the end goal, ignore what you're trying to do. Just repetition. Do it again and again. Tiny tweaks and if you need to do it a little bit better, do it a little bit better the second time. Repetition. There's times in my life where I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, have I even grown? Because I feel like I'm the same person. But I look back to who I was at 19 and who I am now at 24, and I've changed and I've grown so much. And I don't think it was because I just sat on my ass and I did this. No, I changed because I showed up for myself and I repeatedly showed up for myself. Whether it was a podcast episode by Leo Skepi or Mel Robbins, or listening to YouTube videos by David Goggins or Tom Core, or so many people that have transformed their life. And there's so many artists and people that have done amazing, great things, created art and done beautiful things. They talk about this. They talk about what it takes to manifest, to grow, and to change your life, to change yourself. When you can repeatedly show up, a lot of people think of repetition and be like, you know, repeating reps and repeating the gym and gym bros and gym rep. And I'm like, yes, like I said, that is how you strength train. But this goes into all aspects of life. If you can do that at the gym and you can continuously show up at the gym, or if you can continuously learn something new, you are going to teach your brain how to not only handle challenging situations when you want to give up and you're like, oh my God, I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm overwhelmed. But you train your brain to like, I can handle it. So then I can handle the next shit that happens. And like, I slowly am growing and I'm gaining so much wisdom, so much knowledge, and I'm just becoming the woman that I'm meant to be. And that's all it is. You want to be the woman that you're meant to be, the woman your inner child needs, the woman that you deserve to be. All the abundant things that woman has, like all your dreams, your desires, you deserve to have that in this life. If you want your dream life and you want to change and you want to be successful, you need to eliminate habits that don't serve you anymore, and you need to start finding and building new habits that do. Repeat the good habits. When you repeat the good habits, you start to see your life change for the better. So if you repeat the gym, you start to see your body change. If you repeat meditation, you start to lessen your anxiety. If you repeat reading books, you gain more knowledge. If you repeat building your skill, you gain more experience in that skill and you get better at that skill. Every single aspect of life requires repetition because that is how your brain learns. Like anything that your brain and the motors in your brain and all of it, anything that has to do with learning, building skills and things like that, it requires repetition. Your brain is not going to do something 2-3 times and be the best at it. Your brain needs to continuously again and again and again and again. And that is how you learn and that is how you grow. So if you guys are feeling like, what am I missing? Why am I not seeing change? What is it? Just keep doing it. Just show up, put that 1%, but just keep repeating it consistently. Repeat. That's what I have down on my notes here. Repeat. I post every single Thursday. If you guys are on the YouTube app, please subscribe and like and share, my queens. And if you guys are on Spotify and podcasts, please give it a 5-star rating and follow, my queens. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next week. Mwah. Peace and love. Bye, queens.